We have the Earth. We have the Moon. They are separated by 3.84 times 10 to the 8 meters. That's 384 million meters, 384,000 kilometers. The mass of the Earth is given as 5.98 times 10 to the 24 kilograms, and the mass of the Moon, 7.36 times 10 to the 22 kilograms. Just an interesting side note. Notice that the Moon is roughly 1/100th the mass of the Earth, about 1% in terms of mass. I just think that was interesting. What I want to do is find the center of mass. I'm going to use an R because this is a generic R as opposed to X, Y, or Z. The center of mass between the two systems. They orbit each other about a common point. We tend to think of the Moon as an orbit around the Earth in an elliptical orbit about the center of the Earth, and that's not correct. It doesn't go about the center of the Earth because they're both pulling on each other as they do this dance around that common point, which is the center of mass of this system. It's actually a fairly simple situation. I'm going to measure from the center of the Earth, so I'm going to call that 0. That's my 0 mark, and so I'm going to find the center of mass measured from the center of the Earth. So the Moon is that distance away. So our center of mass equation, which is really like a weighted average, is going to be this. You've got the mass of the Earth times its distance from our measurement point, which is going to be 0, plus the mass of the Moon times its distance from our measurement point, which would be that number up here, all divided by the sum of the two masses. Again, this is 0 right here because R is equal to 0 for the Earth. So that's 0 for that term, plus the mass of the Moon, 7.36 times 10 to the 22, times the distance, 3.84, sorry Earth, 3.84 times 10 to the 8, all divided by the sum of the two masses, 5.98 times 10 to the 24, plus 7.36 times 10 to the 22. And when you do all the math, it comes out to be 4.67 times 10 to the 6 meters, measured from the center of the Earth. Just a little interesting note. Remember that from the center of the Earth out to the surface is just over 6 million meters. Just over it's 6.38 times 10 to the 6 meters to the surface from the center. So this common point about which they orbit is somewhere over here, about 2/3 of the way out. So that is the point about which the system rotates.